All right, New York, let's welcome him from Great Britain, Dan Evans. And from Australia, please welcome Alex de Minaur.
Alex, our guest tonight? Hi. Right, so gentlemen, we have the net machine on this court, 25 seconds between points. You have the clock in each corner. Towel, let's say you have red and you have white. You have white for the towel. Technology, you have live ELC, okay, but we have also VR on this court. You can challenge not up, touch, okay, but you cannot challenge time violation, cut violation, foot fault, or let. All right? Any questions?
There's a net machine.
There's a net machine, yes. It's going to be your choice. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads? It's yours. Tails. Receive. Yeah, picture please. Thank you, have a good one. Perfect.
Good evening and welcome to the Louis Armstrong Stadium on Labor Day weekend, of course, the middle Saturday here of the final major of the year. It has been absolutely rammed. Once again on the grounds today, packed to capacity, and that has created a very special atmosphere. We're done with the day and we're looking forward to the night action here as we take a look at the draw. British interest already with Jack Draper moving through against Botic van der Zandschulp, the conqueror, of course, of Carlos Alcaraz, and Thomas Mahac is having a wonderful tournament, isn't he? Having beaten Sebi Korda, he's beaten David Goffin as well. Nick Lester is my name. Colin Fleming is alongside me. Evening to you, Cole.
Yeah, good evening, Nick. Great to be here. What a setting we have. The second biggest show court here at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in New York. It's been a lovely day, really, a cooler day. 24 degrees Celsius at this moment. Quite humid into the evening. Players will have to manage that. But we have a brilliant setting for what should be a brilliant match.
Difficult times in the last few weeks for this guy, 25 years of age, after a stunning year, without doubt the best year of his career. Certainly that first 6 months of the season, he's right up there in the race. Of course, big target for him, but there's some limitations right now, I think it's fair to say, in where he's at in terms of what he can do out there. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. Very, very unfortunate at Wimbledon with a right hip injury at the very end of his win over Artur Fils. We're talking last 1 or 2 points. Just felt something go. Wasn't able to take to the court for his quarterfinal against Novak Djokovic, and hasn't played a match between there and that first run here against Marcos Giron. Just the fact that he was able to go on and beat the American in 4 sets was a big, achievement in itself for de Minaur. He then backed it up with the win over Virtanen. But I think he's spoken quite openly in the press about the fact that he's not yet 100% with the hip. He's having to think about how he's operating on the court, but you're right, he's here because he's in the race to Turin, and that is a huge goal for Alex de Minaur.
What a good record Dan Evans has here in New York. If you look at all 4 majors, this is by far and away his most successful major in terms of match wins, and so much attention, of course, in the opening round with that extraordinary victory over Karen Khachanov. I know you watched him pretty closely in the second round. How good an effort was that to go and back it up after everything he went through?
It was incredible. It was all heart and grit and fight and an incredible physical effort. The day after the win over Khachanov, in his own words, it wasn't pretty, and was able to do a lot of recovery, traveling here with his own private physio. That's turned into a great investment, and was able to get himself to a physical place where his tennis was able to do the talking against Navoni, and he was a better player on a hard court, you know, a lively hard court. But you're right, you know, this has been the Grand Slam where Evans has had the most success, the city that never sleeps. He's a live wire. He loves these sort of atmospheres, he loves the conditions, and he's loved playing de Minaur in the past. Yeah,
give us some of the reasons why that might be in terms of this head-to-head being so lopsided for him.
Yeah, we could see 3-0 for Evans, the last meeting being in the Davis Cup. Last year, a 3-set win for Evans. I think one of the key things is the Evans slice backhand. One of the best slices in the game, and I think he's able to slice to the de Minaur backhand in particular, keep the ball down low, give him no pace. And I actually think de Minaur is a player that prefers to have a bit of pace coming at him and he can redirect. He doesn't like to generate his own. So I think that's one of the keys, is what the reason it's been a challenge. Expecting there to be long points, expecting both players' physicality to be tested here. Interested to see who's more willing to come forward and try and finish at the net. But I think we're in for a really fantastic clash here.
Katie Boulter stuck around despite her defeat, which by our own admission was not a good one in the second round. But she's here to support her boyfriend. Very much looking forward to these two battling it out here tonight.
And the woman.
Evans just having a quick chat with the physio. That's not a great start.
I think possibly physio and one of the tournament doctors on court here, just possibly just maybe forgotten something or wants to take something before we get underway. Maybe needs a bit of taping. Let's see.
Okay, so I think the gist of that was that might be something in terms of his stomach, and we're not talking about an injury necessarily, but possibly something with regards to bowel movements.
Yeah,
if we can put it that in the kindest possible way. Anyhow, let's hope that doesn't inhibit him, because he'll go into this match certainly with some confidence, undoubtedly, after a very disappointing year.
So just a slightly unsettled start to this match for Dan Evans. But hopefully all good, because if both players are ready to go here, I think we're in for a fantastic match. I mentioned in this matchup, the Evans slice can be a difficulty for de Minaur, but that is the flip side of the coin, if you like. The Australian getting after the Evans backhand right from the get-go.
And it's one thing that certainly Navone and to a lesser extent Khachanov didn't really do. These guys are not players that are particularly comfortable coming in, and therefore they didn't really test the Evans backhand at times.
And de Minaur in his first two matches has come in 41 times in the first round against Giron and 23 in the second against Virtanen.
Have anything to do with the physical side, him trying to just keep the points a little bit shorter due to the injury?
Well, he's spoken about having to make some adjustments mentally, first and foremost, then with his game. You know, he's a player, in his own words, that since the very first time he stepped on the tennis court has chased every single ball. That's a mentality. And just with the hip niggle that's still there, I think he's just having to be slightly selective about what he chases, what he doesn't, and yes, possibly keeping the points shorter whenever he can, just to try and protect the hip.
Not many players in world tennis that play as high up the court as de Minaur does. So rarely will he get pushed back behind the baseline. He just will get his feet inside the baseline and plant them from there. Telling opening game, that wasn't it? I think in terms of the way the Aussie's going to potentially approach this match.
Yeah, twice already approaching to the Evans backhand.
Yeah, of course, Jack played to a decent level.
Well, the old school chip charge from Evans, the first second serve you got to look at. Not served great so far, Alex de Minaur. Low first serve percentage, 41% in the first round, 45 in the second. He hit 12 double faults in the first round. I mean, part of that could just be a bit of rustiness, you know, on the match court. I can't imagine he'd had too much time even just practicing coming into this US Open. It would all have been rehab on the injury. I'm sure his game will be in a better shape having played and won 2 matches coming into this evening.
Yeah, went a full 6 weeks without playing a singles match. It's a long time.
Just for context, his first serve percentage on the season is 55. Already the third approach to the backhand. I think we're going to have to tally those up.
Yeah, that much tougher, of course, for Evans, who doesn't come over it all that often. Very capable of doing so, but of course, not quite as comfortable. Up the pace this year a fair bit on that serve. 4 miles an hour. He's got more this season than he had last.
That's already a worry for de Minaur. 15 doubles in 2 matches and 2 already here.
Advantage, de Minaur.
Smoothly done. Nice change of direction.
Yeah, and Evans hitting through a couple of one-handed backhands there. And you can just see off this ball, de Minaur actually liking a bit more height, a bit more pace, able to redirect it, take it early down the line. I'm not sure Evans will give him too many more of those.
Yeah, one of the flatter ball strikers off both the forehand and the backhand on the men's tour we have is the Aussie. The ball through the court effectively. Spaniard, of course, has been with him for many, many years. He oversaw his development. And Leighton's sure had plenty of input as well.
He's been a busy man, Leighton Hewitt, this US Open. He was in the box last night for Poppering's big win over Djokovic. Of course, O'Connell made it to the 3rd round, lost to Sinner earlier today. Jordan Thompson.
There's a lot of Sydney-siders that are out there right now, aren't there?
The Aussies coming strong in the men's singles this year's US Open. In fact, Thompson is currently on court against Matteo Arnaldi.
Do you think this guy's had an influence on the rest of them, Cole, in terms of his work ethic and his attitude in setting the standard for his fellow Australians to follow?
Definitely think it's possible. He's a player that really encapsulates the Aussie spirit, the tradition they have for the game and the way they compete in the game. you know, very proud to represent Australia in Davis Cup. They never say die, they never give up, but also the work ethic in training and practice, as you say, and just the fact that he's a player without sort of massive weapons, but is able to, you know, make it into the top 10. Yeah, I think he probably has inspired other Australians. Mentioned the de Minaur serving. Dan Evans himself actually hasn't been serving amazing, I wouldn't have said, so far this tournament. First serve percentage is hovering above 50.
It was a timely one though, as he's yet to lose a point when he has made the first. It's been a good start here on serve through the opening 3 games.
Players are ready, thank you.
Of course, change of policy this year here at the US Open, which I think is a welcome one, isn't it?
No, it's a fantastic initiative in my opinion. It's free movement in the upper bowl, and meaning, you know, fans can come and go as they please, any score, any stage. Controlled movement in the lower bowl, so they can enter after each game. Don't have to wait for the sit down. The ushers are still trying to keep some control and try and ensure that people are seated before the players are ready for the first point of the next game. But, you know, ultimately record prize money, isn't it? Again here at the US Open, and one of the big sources of that revenue comes from the you know, tickets and fans, and
yeah,
and that fan experience is crucial, and we want to continually try and improve that, in not just here at the US Open but throughout the sport.
Yep.
One thing I'd say in relation to this match, I'm not surprised that it's Dan Evans to mention it first, because he is probably the more distractible character.
Yeah, he's more sensitive, isn't he?
He's more sensitive, and he does have periods in matches where he loses his focus and concentration. It can cost him.
Absolutely.
So it might become a factor as we go.
Got there with plenty of time to spare. And the pass was an effective one.
What a point that was. Like a training drill. Evans down the line, de Minaur cross court. And eventually it was Alex de Minaur. He's so quick to get into that corner, get behind the approach shot to flick it cross court. And able to come out on top of an eye-catching rally.
And that's going to be another challenge tonight, isn't it, for him to pick those times to come in, because it wasn't a bad approach, but it was really ultimately not good enough, was it? And that's going to be a balance as to how often he comes in.
I would be careful if I was Evans of how many running forehand passes I was giving de Minaur.
Yep.
He can generate a lot more pace and spin and racket head speed on that wing. I think any time Evans can create an opening, an opportunity to approach to the backhand, may well prove more successful.
It was a while that we were slightly concerned he needed his parachute in terms of his slip down the rankings, but it's not quite as severe as it could be after his wins here. Possibly being outside the top 200, but that's not the case. Mightily impressive tennis on display here already. Yeah, what do we got for a live ranking poll for Dan? The 170 mark, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, this run has definitely softened the blow. 175, assuming he were to, there or thereabouts, assuming he were to lose this match, of course, if he comes through, and who knows where he ends up, then we'll see what the ranking is after the US Open. Sort of tennis he's been playing, goodness me, it's a lot higher level than 175 in the world.
Absolutely. He's got a few points to defend from Shanghai as well. Of course, he won't be in that event. He'll be focusing on some challenges after the Davis Cup next week.
Even if Evans were to lose this evening and be ranked 175 in the world, this event will have given him, I think, just the belief and the taste again for the big tournaments and playing on these stages, and a lot more motivation to take into, you know, those challenger events, lower level events, to rebuild the ranking. Had he lost first round here to Khachanov, he might have thought, what have I got left in me?
Yep.
You know, he's in his 30s now. But I think we'll see him rise again in the rankings. I think it's fair to say he looks pretty fresh physically. Certainly a lot fresher than he did in the second round against Novoni. He's covering the court well, plenty of pace on the ball. He's telling me he found a facility in Manhattan where he's staying with get a bit of hot-cold therapy in the ice baths, the hot tubs, really working the body, the recovery, the blood flow, throwing everything at it to recover.
Yeah, needs must. After the longest match in US Open history. Extraordinary.
Brilliant pass from de Minaur. He's got very little take back on the backhand, but he was able to just flick this one cross court. Really stretch Evans.
Yeah, for a guy who doesn't hit with a lot of left arm in his two-hander, he's certainly got a lot on it there. Some good signs for Evans here. De Minaur has showed his quality, but he's also showed a few vulnerabilities. And the Brit up early doors, 3-2. Great Britain's win over the Australians. Of course, the Brits will be back in Manchester in a couple of weeks' time with 3 different countries to face. Slightly weakened squad, I think it's fair to say. It's unlikely, I think, Cam Norrie's going to be part of that setup.
Yeah, he's back in Monte Carlo doing his rehab. You mentioned it earlier, Nick, but de Minaur's really done a lot of work this season to beef up his game. You know, physically done a lot of work to get stronger, put on some muscle. Particularly, I think, around a focus on the clay court season. Trying to have a greater weight of shot there. He's added pace on the first serve. Certainly the numbers would back that up.
Last year he was averaging 119 miles per hour on the first serve. This year 122. Chatting before we came on air, he's also tweaked his sort of setup with his strings, brought some natural gut into the mains.
Yeah.
The vertical strings from the throat of the racket to the top. That just makes the ball just fly a little more out of the racket.
So good. He's an artist, this guy. And there aren't too many in world tennis that can match him in these sorts of scenarios.
Such a brilliant all-court player. Dan Evans reads the game so well. What an intelligent volley that was. And then it's just the natural net skills coming to the fore.
Interesting technique on his forehand volley, doesn't he, as well, because you could see there from both. It's goodness me, this is high quality. Both men barely giving an inch.
Such an intense point. Fantastic ball striking. Both players pushing each other to the limit. 27 shots, and it wasn't exactly pushing the ball up and down the middle, was it? It was physical. No sign of any limitations in the de Minaur movement.
Didn't see him coming. And there's that forehand volley again. Just to finish that point, of course, he almost has a slight bit of topspin on the forehand volley, doesn't he? It's a little more unusual, Cole.
Yeah, it's not the sort of classic forehand volley grip, is it? It's a very flat ball as a result, but he makes it work. He's got such a good feel for where the racket is, keeps it in front.
De Minaur has made 5 of 19 first serves.
Look at this Evans return position. He's really stepped in this game, Evans, trying to take the play to de Minaur. The Australian resists for now. Yeah, that first serve percentage far too low for de Minaur. I mentioned it earlier, his average for the season is 55, which isn't particularly high, but 26%, 5 of 19 is far too low. Right on cue, he finds a good one, and just look at the difference it makes. Weak return from Evans, de Minaur able to step in and attack.
The sorts of numbers I used to see on my school reports, Cole. It was never encouraging when they came back.
Yes.
Nick not really applying himself in class.
Don't you start.
You've done okay.
Extraordinary volley. Got in so quickly here, which was so crucial.
It's unbelievable. Because I tell you, this is harder to hit off a slice. Because naturally off a slice, the ball reacts down off the strings. Much easier off a ball that's with topspin that's dipping. That is an incredible volley. He has just cut the strings into that ball. He does like that short volley. There's a reason why, because he's so good at it.
Yes.
Going to reach the last 16 of all 4 majors in one season for the first time. Here's de Minaur. Some effort that would be. The last Australian, in fact, to do it, sitting courtside, Leighton Hewitt, 2004. There he is. He was Mr. Consistent, wasn't he, Leighton? Didn't have many bad weeks. And there's Garlo Blanco. Of course, Alex just signed with a new team, agency-wise. Garlo and John Morris looking after him now.
Big hold there for de Minaur. He knows it. That's why we see the reaction.
Yes, 72 Tennis is the management company. Now look after him.
Sure, they'll be invested in his quest to qualify for the UN finals in Turin. And this is where we have the controlled movement, so the fans not waiting until the change of ends. They're able to come in at 3-all here. May just be a delay of a moment or two while they find their seats. Definitely bothers Evans more than de Minaur.
It's gone big on the honey juice there. To give you an idea how physical this has been so far, the average rally length in these opening 6 games, 7 on the de Minaur serve, 6 on the Evans serve. So it's been a physical contest.
Yeah, that's big numbers, isn't it?
It's unlucky.
The average rally length, certainly in the men's game, usually more around 4 shots, isn't it? A lot of points played 0 to 4, you know, serve, return, first strike. These two are going to test each other physically.
Yeah, it will be a little slower, I guess, Cole, at night, won't it, in terms of the speed of conditions?
Yeah, and cooler.
Yeah.
Humid, which, you know, probably slows things down a bit. Players sweating a lot, balls probably picking up a little bit of that moisture. Last game of the first set of balls here, so they'll be as slow as they've been in the match so far. That might just give de Minaur an edge as he looks for a first break.
18-13.
looking for the opportunity, wasn't he? That's another benefit of his position on the court when he is inside the baseline, because it's obviously that much shorter for him to get to the net.
De Minaur able to fend off a break point in the previous game, got one of his own here. Big moment.
And a big serve. At just the right time.
What a clever little chip that was from Evans. He saw De Minaur coming. The Aussie had forced the issue. He just got the ball wide enough to make life difficult for him. This is a real game of chess between these two, isn't it? You know, every shot is calculated. It has to have a real tactical intention. Neither has the power to just hit the ball through the other.
Yes.
Another brilliant shot selection. Look at the way he moved up to play that drop shot. Took it early. That's what made it so effective.
A couple of times Dan has doubled over just before serving, and it's been the case again here.
Remember the medication he took just before we started?
Yeah.
Bit of a stomach issue, it seemed to be for. Gastro issue, we should say.
Electrifying stuff here on Armstrong.
Well, there are fans on their feet for this point, and no wonder.
Advantage. De Minaur.
I mean, these guys covering every inch of Louis Armstrong. How did De Minaur get from that wide at the net to that wide at the baseline on the very next ball? What a mover.
Evans at the end of that point went to the back and crouching down for quite some time.
You know, everyone in the crowd here, you know, they're a well-educated tennis crowd. They will be well aware of Evans's exploits in the first round, 5 hours 35 minutes, and they'll be switched on to the fact this is already becoming a physical battle.
Yeah.
I mean, appreciation for the efforts of both players already.
Yeah, Dan is a what you see, what you get type of guy as well, isn't he? It's no nonsense. People appreciate that as well from his personality.
Advantage. De Minaur.
De Minaur, though, eventually finds a way after 41 minutes to get the first break. Could be a crucial one. 4-3.
De Minaur leads 4 games to 3. What's that? Out. 15-11.
Just feels like De Minaur has
13-11.
grabbed this first set and certainly the match at this stage by the scruff of the neck with that break of serve. Evans looking a little fatigued, I have to say.
One of the points of the tournament so far. And these two continue to put on quite the show.
Well, every highlight in this match is better than the last. These guys are treating us. Incredible tennis.
Interesting as well there, Cole, how quickly De Minaur was up to play the next point.
De Minaur's a player that's very switched on to the physical side of the game, and he will have spoken with his team, which includes Leighton Hewitt, of course, who also thought in this manner. You know, they will have spoken about making this physical, and they'll be delighted with the way it's going.
Yeah.
De Minaur. De Minaur leads 5 games to 3. First set.
Very nearly made the through the legs as well, Evans. I mean, the skill set, the movement, so much to admire from both of them.
Tell you how good that pass is when he's hardly hit over the back end as well from that position. Outstanding.
I think it was a needs-must situation from that deep in the court with De Minaur at the net. And then he found a beauty.
Pretty much an outlier these days, isn't he, Dan, in terms of the way he plays the sport. And no doubt it makes him a more watchable player. You're drawn to his skills. Always have been. There's craft about what he does on a court, which isn't always the case these days. This has become very much a power sport.
Yeah, it's become more and more about power, hasn't it? The developments in technology, physicality of the game, the sports science. He's a throwback.
He is.
So is De Minaur to an extent.
Yeah.
15.
See just how much perspiration, how much sweat he's losing. I mean, you talk about some of these guys are losing 2, 3, 4Ks a match in conditions like this.
Yeah, and not overly warm. Sort of mid-20s, 70s if you work in Fahrenheit, but the humidity is what, 75% there or thereabouts. Very high this evening.
Come in 19 times in this opening set. And right now, the numbers don't make great reading. He's only won the point 9 times.
De Minaur again just doesn't back off the baseline, stands up to that approach.
Just wonder actually if the approach down the middle sometimes isn't a bad option. Such a high level these two have produced in set number 1. It's an opening set that De Minaur takes in 50 minutes, 6-3.
6 games to 3.
Seventh game. Now, he may well get a sort of second and third win, but I do think he needs to try and up the aggression to try and shorten some of the points. You need to be careful doing that against someone like De Minaur, because if you become impatient and make too many mistakes, the match can run away in a hurry. I think looking to get his forehand into play as much as he can, looking to hit big with that shot. He needs to find a way to be more successful with those net approaches. You referred to it, 9 of 19 in that opening set. I like that he came forward 19 times. I think he has to keep coming, but he's got to find a bit more quality, a bit more purchase on the approaches, and if he can start to win sort of 2/3, say, of those net points, maybe mix in a little bit of serve volley, I think that could be the way to go. I mean, we love seeing the long sort of highlight reel points, don't we? But goodness me, they've got to be tiring on the legs. Very secure under the high ball there, under the lights.
31.
I like the way he sort of locked in the throwing position here and really just kept the feet moving, kept adjusting, making sure he was in the perfect position. You plant the feet too early there, you can get into trouble.
It's just such a tough place for him to make a pass. He may have made 1 or 2 already, but difficult from there.
30.
Doesn't possess tons of natural pace when he rolls over the backhand.
De Minaur. First game, second set.
One thing de Minaur is doing well here is, as I say, I'm sure he would have focused about trying to make this match physical and testing Evans's legs off the back of Djokovic has been the master of, you know, yes, he's been solid, yes, he when he's at his best, not making many unforced errors, but he's constantly moving the ball. Well, there was that approach down the middle, but by doing that, you're always keeping the opponent just slightly off balance.
Yeah.
You take the legs away from them over the course of a best-of-5 set match.
Absolutely. Interesting, the approach down the middle, isn't it? Because on the face of it, you think, oh, he must be crazy. What are you talking about? Approach down the middle of the court.
Yeah, but that's the spot in the serve there. Great serve. Come on.
Well, that's the spot on the serve. Great serve, really hitting home. They want him to serve big down the tee on that ad side anyway. Yeah, but to go back to your point, approach down the middle, I mean, straight away you're taking away the angle that your opponent has to work with, aren't you?
Absolutely.
You can put yourself in the middle of the court and good chance you're going to get a play on the volley.
Yeah. He's moving side to side, second to none, de Minaur, so he's going to get in position to make some sort of pass 9 times out of 10, probably. And maybe, Colin, pays dividends down the line, because if he goes down the middle of a couple of times, de Minaur's then not necessarily moving quite as early, possibly. I mean, it's...
Really good. You hit it great. Right there, everybody. Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on.
I think they're just trying to encourage Evans there. And I think they're trying to reassure him that he's hitting the ball well. What I picked up was Evans maybe not feeling like he's getting enough oomph on his forehand. But certainly Leon Smith, the British Davis Cup captain, telling him he's hitting the ball great. He'll keep believing.
Right now. Come on, Evan.
Dad's wife.
That's a very cheap point there.
Now 30.
Exactly the type of point you want if you're Dan Evans right now.
Yeah. Been many of those. urgency to get in, get it before it dropped. And he's got a bit of momentum here as Evans, and he's making it count. Took the approach so early, that was crucial.
It goes down as an unforced error, not like Evans to miss on the slice backhand. De Minaur will know that the momentum is on the line here in this game. One more break point to come. What a disciplined and quality point that was from Alex de Minaur. Moved the ball initially and then just locked in on the Evans backhand corner. 2-3 times I thought he was going to change into the forehand, but even on that final shot, back in behind, and no wonder he pumps his fist. That's a big factor in de Minaur being on top. That maybe hits home what Evans is feeling. Not hitting his forehand as big as he wants.
Advantage, de Minaur.
Overall winners in the match, 20 de Minaur to 7 for Evans. Comes back to what we spoke about in the first set. He's beefed up his game. And he's worked hard physically to put on muscle this year.
Yep.
He's made a tweak with the strings to get a bit more purchase out of his technology.
That's an impressive hold, because Evans really was starting to make an impression. The Aussie holds on 2-1.
Yeah, Evans' first serve has been good. He's 67% in for the match, 173.
Yeah.
But the second one just 31%, 4 of 13 second serve points. De Minaur doing a great job there of, well, not just attacking the second serve, but sort of outmaneuvering him in the rallies that ensue.
Ominous, isn't he?
Yeah. It's a little hard to understand the head-to-head 3-0 Evans when you see, you know, the opening set and a half here. It's been an engaging contest, but one that de Minaur is definitely on top of.
Yeah, particularly those longer rallies. Been a lot of them as well. In fact, we've had 22 rallies over 9 shots, and the Aussie has won 15 of those 22 so far. working out well for him.
That's it.
Yeah, they're most definitely behind this guy. There's a big proportion in here that, as you say, Cole, of real feeling for him, for his story this week.
Yeah, obviously with what happened in the first round for Evans, but I think wherever you play in the world, if you wear your heart on your sleeve and you fight, you know, crowds will get behind you. They love the emotion on show.
Do give us a follow on all the socials on US Open here. There's plenty to go, plenty to see and do there.
About 15.
Cole mentioned the race. Of course, de Minaur currently occupying the 8th and final spot in the race to Turin. He's got a lead of about 300 points over Taylor Fritz in 9th. So he's given himself every chance of making Turin. Oh, tell me he hasn't made it. Where has he come from?
Alex de Minaur making the impossible possible. There was no way he was getting to this, let alone hitting a winner. That is absolutely incredible. Even Dan Evans can only admire that. The speed demon.
Extraordinary.
And we mentioned it, Nick, you know, he spoke after his first round win almost with the hip and maybe not quite being 100%, just having to adjust and think about perhaps which balls to chase. I haven't seen him not chase a ball tonight,
no,
that's for sure.
Totally.
This is, you know, looks to me like a fit and healthy de Minaur.
Yeah. And interestingly, a fair few times he's actually gone backhand line to then open up the Evans backhand, hasn't he? He's pushed down into that part of the court to then expose the backhand and get in quickly. Not the only time we've seen him do that. This is just full of entertainment. And it's a joy to watch.
It is a joy to watch. I feel like I should be going somewhere to pay for my ticket. It feels like I'm stealing here from the tournament. This is what a match we've been treated to. These guys putting on a show.
Wouldn't expect anything else, would you, on a Saturday night in New York?
I'll tell you what, the highlights of this match, you're going to have to watch most of it.
Yeah.
Could be a long highlight reel.
Too true. Continues to profit with his moves forward, does Alex de Minaur. This is some impressive tennis.
Only 3 games to 2,
He's up 3-2.
And 1 set to love.
Let's get a little bit rowdy, to put it mildly, in these night sessions. Winner will take on Jordan Thompson, I can tell you. In the last 16, Thompson having beaten Matteo Arnaldi today. Could be an all-Aussie matchup. That'll get him going down under.
I think it's fair to say that the Aussies enjoying these conditions. Brilliant. Obviously hard courts, the same as the Australian Open, their home Grand Slam, but quicker conditions here. The USTA deliberately selecting a medium-fast court surface, but the court surface is just one element. You know, it's an important one, but speed of the balls, obviously the temperature in the air, everything here in New York at the US Open adds up to pretty quick hard court conditions. It's not been that hot either, so the ball hasn't been particularly high bouncing. If you think of de Minaur, flat hitter, gives him a bit of extra bang for his buck, likes to get forward. Thompson, he likes to get forward, he can serve big. Popper serving big, attacking tennis. And Chris O'Connell, a flat hitter, likes to get in. These conditions that certainly suit those 4 players, I would say more so than actually the conditions at the Australian Open.
Got to factor the ball in, haven't you, as well, which is of all the majors, I think when you take the ball individually, and it would be interesting to get a straw poll of all the players, but I think I hazard a guess this is the quickest ball that we have at all 4 majors.
Yeah, I would say so. The Wilson US Open extra duty in the men's. I would say it's a quick ball, quicker than the Australian Open ball. Just caught a piece of the sideline, I think. Well, it did. System confirming. Looked like it might be flying wide.
Evans is going to have to work hard for another hold.
Oh, that is just delicious. Not the first time we've seen that little rolled cross-court pass, the first one.
13-14.
And then it's just a trademark, flicking the lob over Evans.
Yeah, he's the tour leader in return games won this year. He's Alex de Minaur, and we are getting a good taste of just why. He breaks about 1 in 3 right now this year, the Aussie. That's how good it's got to be to keep him at arm's length.
Yes.
Big strike on the forehand there for Evans. It feels like he is really going to have to push the limits on that shot. When he gets an attackable ball, I think he has to go all out, really flatten the ball out and try and hit through de Minaur. He still only managed 9 winners in total for the match. No forehand winners for Dan Evans. That, for me, tells a story. got to try and get that forehand going past De Minaur.
Got away with that one.
And it's not just hitting the ball hard, of course, that contributes to winners. It's where you hit the shot from as well. You know, maybe he could... Maybe he could try and get a little closer to the baseline to strike a few big ones.
Working hard to stay in touch here. That's a super hold. This guy has resilience in spades.
3 against 0. Second set.
I don't think there would have been too many players in the field that at 4-love, 40-15 down in the fifth.
You are. You want it. Come on.
Yeah. And you've got close. You've been offensive when you can with your forehand return.
Come on.
That would have had the courage and the guts to still believe you could win that match in the first round. Extraordinary.
Well, the message from the team was to keep being offensive with the forehand return. He tried to move deep for that second serve return, just didn't catch the forehand at all, didn't time it.
Out. 13. 14 now.
Well, that was two contrasting holds, wasn't it? The Australian with a quick one to move further in front here.
4 games to 3, second set, and 1 set to love.
It just feels like Evans is on the edge here. Sort of this stage of the first set where De Minaur was able to take control. I really feel it's a must-win set for Evans. When you think of the physicality of his tournament so far and this match so far.
serve was a beauty.
Yeah, new balls in play here for Evans, and that's certainly helping. That body serve getting through the court quickly. Balls are always a good bit quicker, fresh out the can.
He saw him coming for once, and Evans counters the move in.
40-15.
He's had good success with this volley, de Minaur. That's the thing, when you play it straight up the court, if you give it a little too much air, it's always liable to the opponent chasing it down. Evans actually got there in good time in the end.
Aside from that one previous game, he's actually held pretty comfortably in this set, hasn't he? He's only lost 5 points on serve. I think all of those might have come in that previous service game.
Two breaks in all in the match, both for Alex de Minaur in the first set. I certainly would have predicted more breaks than that.
Yep.
When these two going up against each other. Evans yet to find a way to break the de Minaur serve.
Wait, please. Players are ready. Thank you. Love 15.
Wow. Well, here we go. Two freebies.
Where has this come from? Just a switch off from de Minaur. Loss of focus.
Well, for a while in this set, it looked as though Evans was working hard to hang on. Not only is he hung on, he might be the first to get a break here. Massive opportunity for the Brit. Again, completely out of keeping with everything we've seen from Alex de Minaur. 4 errors in a row. Evans will serve to take the second.
Evans leads 5 games to 4. Second set. First set, de Minaur.
It's been a very humid evening.
Huh? Fine. Yeah, I know, I relax. I know.
You always feel the sweat and the grip on the racket a little bit more in a game like this,
Yeah.
where the pressure's on.
Yeah, I think Damien Dumassois just...
Warning, Mr. Evans.
That was coming, wasn't it? I think he said, I've got no choice.
Probably won't mind getting a time violation to make sure he got things right on that point.
It's been such a good pattern of play. He's backhand up the line. He's then waited for Evans to go back with a forehand cross, and he has taken the approach so early. And he's given Evans no time to recover.
What a rip on the forehand there.
13.
Evans had got himself on top of the point, but de Minaur has shown time and again, if you give him a running forehand, he is so dangerous.
Hasn't missed him in the overhead. And that was a stunner.
Yes.
Yeah, what a quality point. Got just enough on that volley. Meant de Minaur could only put up the defensive lob, and he's flushed that overhead.
Third of the set.
You just feel it from the body language, can't you? Just an element of hesitation, dare I say, doubt setting in for Evans here. Struggling to get across the line.
Beautiful. Burns again as he came forwards. And de Minaur breaks right back.
Almost a carbon copy of the first break point. This time, though, de Minaur got that backhand down low and wide. Evans couldn't get anything on the volley. And that's the type of shot that de Minaur has made a career on.
Hasn't he just? In fairness, it was a horror game to get broken, wasn't it, that he played, the Australian. But again, that epitomises his personality, doesn't it? There's a lot of people that might sit there in the chair and dwell on 4 errors in a row.
Yeah, a lot of players would have come out and played another poor game.
Yeah, hangover, right?
Right back to work there, you know, just the experience, knowing that it was going to be a difficult game for Evans to try and serve out a set. The onus now on the Brit to try and wipe the slate clean, and you always got to try and forget about the fact that you had a chance to serve for it. Pretend it's been 5 holes each to this stage.
Absolutely.
Just feels, as I say, like a crucial set for Evans to win, and if he doesn't, he's obviously going to look back on that 5-4 game. It really land any sort of big blows consistently, did he?
No. Missed by a couple of millimeters. What a big couple of games that could prove to be in the outcome of this second set. There's de Minaur with a 6-5 lead. Think there's much more you can do in that situation, is there, if you're Evans? I mean, he's hit 2 great volleys there.
I think you can look down the court and say too good.
Yeah,
it's your only option. It's a great reaction there, but look at again the speed from de Minaur to actually somehow get behind this ball and produce a stunning pass. He really has passed and lobbed well this evening. Evans has done better at the net in this set, but he's still 10 from 17, 19 from 36 overall. Testament to how well de Minaur has played when the Brits come forward.
Yes, beautifully done. Good stick on that one.
14-15.
The Aussie appreciated that. The set that is just shy of an hour. And it's a set that will be decided by a breaker, and a set you feel is absolutely essential for Dan Evans to win.
6 games on, second set, tiebreak.
Evans, of course, started his tournament with 3 straight tiebreak sets against Sachanov. Lost the first tiebreak 8-6, won the next 7-2, and the third 7-4 to take a 2-1 lead. As you say, Nick, he could really do with winning another one here. It's a missed opportunity there for de Minaur. That backhand from Evans was mishit. It was slower tempo and attackable.
I'm not sure we've seen a better volley than that all tournament.
Well, if we have, I'd like to see it. Again, the speed from de Minaur, and it looked like he got this ball past Evans, who strained every sinew to just get a racket on it, and somehow it flick it cross court for a winner. That is an inspirational volley. It's the second slower ball that de Minaur has missed off of Long with the forehand again.
Yeah, there's those tiebreak records that Colin referenced.
Just some errors creeping into the de Minaur game. You think back to the 4-all game as well. Been short of time on the practice court preparing for this tournament as a result of the hip injury. It does just make it that bit harder to sort of sustain your level, and particularly under pressure, as we're seeing here. Real drop-off.
Evans.
And the one thing Evans will do, he will just make you play consistently. He's a guy who keeps the unforced errors down. He may not blow you off the court, but he'll make you earn it. In fact, he's hit half the amount of errors than the Aussie has tonight. This is some tiebreak he's playing.
Evans.
He's feeling it physically, that's obvious, isn't it?
Evans.
Lovely combination. So quick to get onto the forehand. And he has won 6 successive points here to give himself a whole host of set points.
Evans. Evans.
Well, as long as there's points to be played, de Minaur will keep fighting. Both players will.
There's 2 hours on the clock. Evans with more set points.
He looked a little anxious on that last forehand to try and get this tiebreak in the books.
Evans.
Big point coming now.
Yeah, he was looking for a shortcut, wasn't he, out of that rally? A little earlier than it might have been possible. Armstrong not too far away from being full to capacity here. He's had some of the best moments of his career in New York. It's the city that gets the best out of him. And Evans has squared us up here on Armstrong after nearly 2 hours.
7 games to 6.
Evans to start the third. mentioned Evans's wins in New York here, and just how this has been a good major for him. It's worth reminding yourself of some of the victories he's had here and the feel-good factor I'm sure that he gets when he comes here. You referenced it earlier on, Colin, when we were talking. Of course, he beat Nishikori here in the early days, didn't he? 2013, that was.
Yeah, that was one of the first big breakthroughs in his career. I'm right in saying qualified and made the third round.
Yeah, that was, as you say, 11 years ago now. In Zverev here. In 16, Zverev was a seed that season. He beat Luca Pui back in 2019, who was 25th seed. That great run in 2021 to the last 16, beat Popperin in 5, of course, 7-6 in the 5th. What a great day that was. Last year, had a good match with Alcaraz, of course.
Yeah, even some of the losses, you know, the level has been very good. I'm thinking Wawrinka, Cilic come to mind.
Yeah, Cilic in 4, that was 2 years ago. 5 in the 4th. Oh, 4 hours that match was.
And it's conditions that are that really suit him. We spoke about that with regards to de Minaur and the other Australians this year, but for Evans, you know, the slice backhand goes through the court, gets a little bit extra off his serve and his forehand.
Yep.
Can rush players coming to the net. Oh no. Just didn't do enough with the first overhead that he allowed to bounce. It was through the court. De Minaur able to read it. And he's just snatched at the second attempt. This one, you've got to try and angle that off the court more for me.
No feeling sorry for himself. That's not in this guy's makeup. Right back on it at the start of the third. Chester, the Aussies actually in Valencia in a very tough group. The France, I think, Spain.
De Minaur's second home, of course, in Spain.
That's true.
Alicante area. Moved there as a kid, spent a good amount of his developmental years as a person, but also as a tennis player in Spain.
He's well travelled, isn't he? He's different flavours from different parts of the world, as Alex.
Dan Evans, on the other hand, is what we'd call a Brummie through and through. He didn't spend much of his youth in Alicante.
No.
He's done it again. That is ridiculous.
13 again.
I mean, he's pulled out the 60-degree lob wedge here again. Just carved underneath this thing.
It's a special shot.
How open the racket face is there. You can almost hit it with the frame. He's almost coming side on to the ball. Just carving underneath it. It's incredible.
First percentage for the match still pretty low. Something that he struggled with all tournament. 44% he is for the match today. There we go. Yet to move above 50 for the entire tournament. With the roof open this evening, it was actually shut about half an hour before we kicked off here tonight. Expecting maybe a bit of rain, but they opened it just prior.
Goes without saying that's a bad miss from Evans' point of view. Plenty of time in the forehand. Just lacking a little bit of intensity in the footwork at this stage.
Yep.
Slight energy dip after the second set. De Minaur really struggling on that first serve. It's important we don't forget, you know, the comeback he has made from the hip injury sustained at Wimbledon in that fourth round win over Fils. He rushed back as quickly as he sort of could without taking too much risk.
This Pam White cross. Not sure what that was about.
Evans had a discussion there with White Cross, one of the tournament referees, officials. Not sure what he's looking for. Is it maybe the trainer?
Yeah, trainer's on the way.
The physio has been called on court.
Yeah.
Alejandro Reznikov, the tournament physio that was on court there. I think we might see him at the change of ends again.
Forced to retire in Vienna. You remember last year when the calf blew up. Such unfortunate timing. Of course, that forced him to miss the Davis Cup finals in Malaga, but he was still there as a fan.
Not sure the discussion there, why he wouldn't have a full assessment and timeout before this game, why he might wait until the change of ends. I mean, a double break and the set's virtually gone. And he still looks in some discomfort.
Yeah, a lot of drive on the serve, is there? Numbers dropping rapidly.
What a strike on the one-handed backhand. When you see him do that, you actually wonder why he doesn't do it a little more often. So committed to his slice, of course, but he can't strike a one-hander any better than that.
And this time Evans does get the better of him in one of those sorts of exchanges.
14 again.
Hanging on for dear life here. Such a clever chip that was. No panic. The crowd recognising the problems that Evans is suffering.
The black shirt, blue cap is Evans's private physio, Marty Goni, but once the match starts, he's not able to come on the court to assist Evans in any way. He just has to, I guess, sit and hope and trust in the tour physio.
Exactly.
Ruthless from de Minaur, and that's exactly the way he should be. Well, he's got a match to win here, and pushing Evans into the corner again.
Yeah, he's battered, isn't he? Evans is doing all he can to muster some sort of fight here.
Just got to try and get to the sit down and the potential injury timeout. 2-1, one break behind.
Looked like he had the control off that one, particularly trying to wrong foot his man. Another break point here for the Aussie. It's loose, it's wild, and Evans has lost his grip of this third set pretty quickly here. The physio's out. There's plenty of work to do.
De Minaur leads 3 games to love, third set, 1 set off.
I think in terms of...
Interesting, isn't it? On the men's side, the women's side, the medalists still going. You know, the Olympics isn't just an extra tournament on the calendar.
Yeah.
It's not just a change of surface. It's such a big event, an event that transcends tennis and any sport. There's no doubt it's been draining for the likes of Djokovic and Alcaraz, and played a big factor in their respective shock defeats. think if you'd said to Djokovic pre-Olympics, you can win gold here and lose to Popperin at the US Open, I think he would have taken it.
Unquestionably. It's been a year where he's effectively won nothing, apart from the one thing that was missing in his CV.
Yeah. Evans still moving pretty gingerly. He's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at it now, just go for winners whenever he can.
Yeah, looking rather inhibited.
De Minaur leads 4 games to none, third set.
This third set is within the Australians' grasp.
Dan Evans has played 893 professional matches at all levels in his career. And he's only ever retired 6 times. He certainly won't want to be doing that here at the US Open.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was looking at his numbers earlier on today. Of those 893 career matches, oh, what a pass. He's still only, and I say only, I mean this with the greatest of respect, and it's all relative, of course. He's only won 150 tour level matches, which is a brilliant effort, but it's not that many, is it, when you consider how long he's been on tour?
No, and of course he's had a unique career. It's been less time spent on the main tour as a result of obviously some decisions he's made, some bad decisions. He'd be the first to admit that.
Yeah.
And that's limited the number of tour level wins.
Yes.
Again, De Minaur.
How much more has he got left? Is he possibly thinking about retiring here? Who knows? Doesn't look like there's a whole lot left in the tank.
5 games to go, third set, 1 set.
Third set drift away and put a big effort in early in the fourth. I don't think there'll be much effort into trying to break serve here.
No. Couldn't have done that if he tried.
15-all. 14-13.
De Minaur with set points to re-establish his lead.
Let. First set. Game and good set.
In the end, a set that got away pretty quickly from Evans. The start of the fourth is going to be absolutely crucial for the Brit.
Leads 2 sets to.
Fabulous effort from former college standout. Some comeback today, wasn't it, from him as well, Cole?
Yeah, 6-3, 3 match points down in the 4-set tiebreak. On 5 points in a row, and the 5th set 6-love, incredible from Borges. It's just very hard at this stage to see any future in this match for Evans. You know, it might be different, say it was 2 sets all and he had 1 set to try and sort of find a way to win, but from here, you know, 2 sets still to go for Evans, and he looks to be really struggling.
Let.
Much slower wide to the forehand corner than he was earlier in the match, understandably so. It's good stuff from de Minaur, keeping his foot down.
Yeah, he's in merciless mood. You would expect nothing less. The Aussie sensing it's time to move for them for the kill. Looking over towards his team as well. Don't think he's going to raise the white flag here. Got a lot of work to do.
I tell you what, though, he's a player. He won't be afraid of playing qualifying for tour events, Grand Slams if he has to.
Yeah.
He won't shy away from that challenge.
No. Yeah, defended the points, of course, that he won here last year. Just looking actually at his scenario in front of him. He's got about 320 points, Dan. He'll leave with that here if he loses today. Just to be a top 100 player, he's got to get it about 550 right now. So, of course, with points coming off a little bit, there's a few variables in there, but So he needs about 200 points to pick up
30
plus in the autumn period.
It's doable with the level he's played here. As long as he's fit and healthy after this match. Worth reminding ourselves of the nature of the opening set, in particular how physical it was, how physical de Minaur made it. There's many ways to win a match, especially the best-of-5 set match, and you know, sort of taking the legs away from your opponent, outlasting them is one of them, and one that de Minaur is very much switched on to. And talking of rankings, let's talk about the race that you're in. What a bonus this is for de Minaur, who was a race to be fit for this US Open. And he's on his way to the fourth round, and who knows where. A real bonus for him.
Yeah, to play Jordan Thompson as well.
I like his chances in that race to Turin if he is 100% fit for the rest of the season, because he's playing on hard courts in Asia, he's playing on indoor hard courts in Europe. He'll probably even be a little fresher mentally as a result of the layoff from the injury. Still loads to play for de Minaur, not just here in New York, but the remainder of this 2024 season.
The life has been completely sucked out of this match. Evans left everything on the table at the end of that second set. And I think you can almost turn out the lights on this match. Although we probably said that at 4-love 40-15 in round one.
I think we might well have done.
Let's not go down that road again. One man striding to a chair, the other cutting a rather forlorn figure. Evans' time in New York is running out.
It's going to be an Australian derby in the round of 16.
Yeah, what's the head-to-head there?
Yeah, Jordan Thompson awaiting the winner here. They've played 5 times previously. De Minaur leads the head-to-head, 4 wins to 1. Last meeting, though, was 2022 in Miami. So a fair bit of time passed since then. I think it's fair to say, well, probably both players playing the best tennis of their careers in this season. Certainly Jordan Thompson.
Yeah, what a year he's had. That title run, was it Los Cabos, I want to say, earlier in the year?
That's correct.
I mean, that was incredible.
I think if you actually look sort of statistically at his game on a hard court, he's playing a sort of top 20 level on this surface, Jordan Thompson, in this season. He's got nothing left. I actually really respect the fact that he's playing the match out rather than retiring. It speaks a lot to his character.
Totally agree.
Yeah, he's sort of a big enough character to take this on the chin rather than raise the white flag.
Yeah, he'll take home $200,000 for reaching the 3rd round as well. has made a bit of history in the process.
Yeah, forever, well, until it's surpassed, be remembered for winning the longest ever match here at the US Open. And he could say he won the next one as well.
Yes.
What an effort that was.
But it's come at a price. Frustration for Evans, down 5-love in the fourth. And move into the Sweet 16. Clinical stuff. Evans has only won 3 points in this set.
For a few years, that's unfortunate. People maybe not understanding the journey he's been on here in this tournament.
It's been tumultuous. Simply ran out of gas. And Alex de Minaur was there to take advantage. Some healthy respect shared between the pair. It's his first win over Evans. Let's not forget that either on tour. An important one. What a year he's having. Back from injury and back in the last 16 at the US Open.
Yeah, it's a fantastic evening for Alex de Minaur. Make no mistake about it, there must have been moments where he doubted whether he would be able to take to the court here at the US Open. I think the MC just recognizing the efforts of Dan Evans, and the crowd now showing their appreciation. That's a nice moment. Played the longest match in US Open history in the first round, his win over Karen Khachanov. He's got nothing left. He left it all out there for de Minaur. It was 2 hours of brilliant tennis between the two. Let's remember this match for that. They ran everywhere on this Louis Armstrong court. The tennis was breathtaking. Evans then running out of steam, understandably so. And it's de Minaur through to round 4.
We'll get a chance to hear from the winner, as always, in a second. We'll just distribute a couple of towels to some young fans. That's super cool. They'll go home even happier than they were earlier on. Very nice. Class act is Alex. Let's hear from him.
Alex, somewhat of a tricky match, but you knew he's a stubborn opponent. He's beaten you the last 3 times you've played, so even though there was a lot of mileage on his body, he wasn't feeling 100%. You didn't seem to take anything for granted.
Yeah, look, I think the first thing we should show is a lot of respect to Dan. He's an ultimate competitor. He could have... He could have easily pulled out. The body was obviously not feeling well, but he stayed out there and tried his best, so I really appreciate it.
Alex, is that part of what the exchange was at the net? Just you taking the opportunity to express respect to him for the battle he put on, despite how he was feeling?
Yeah, 100%. I've had, well, we've had some great battles, and obviously he's gotten the better of me on many occasions. So, you know, I'm happy I was able to get one on the board.
You are the first man from your country to reach the 4th round of all the slams in a calendar season in 20 years since the great Aussie Leighton Hewitt. You've got to be proud of your consistency.
Yeah, I'm super proud of what I've been able to achieve this year. It's been tough coming back from injury, but look, I'm so happy to be back here in New York playing these kinds of matches in front of you guys, and let's go, let's keep it going.
Speaking of proud, you've got to be thrilled. I don't know if you're tuning into the headlines down under, but to have the three of you, Alex de Minaur, to have Alexei Popper, and to have Jordan Thompson all still in the mix, it gives the phrase Aussie, Aussie, Aussie a little beautiful twist. Unfortunately, you have to play an Aussie in the next round, but you got to be proud and looking forward to that.
It's so good for Australian tennis to show what we're capable of. Alexei putting on a show last night, beating Novak. Jordan playing some incredible tennis. It's a pity that we got to play each other, and I just need to say that we're all from Sydney, so there's something special out there.
Last thing, you and Katie, both pro players in this beautiful relationship on tour. She was in the box a little bit ago. Do you have rules when you watch each other's matches? You may cheer, but you cannot clap. Or you can clap, but do not use any nicknames. Is it just cheer however you want to support each other? Do you guys have any unique rules?
Just be there for each other through thick and thin. You know, she's got my back, I've got her back, and yeah, I really appreciate her support always. So we're always going to get the best out of each other.
The world needs a little more of that. Show some love, everyone. Alex de Minaur.
Yeah, he's a class act. Is Alex de Minaur.
He's a fighter and a lover.
Oh, man, that's a good combination. He's a winner as well. And he's done a lot of that this year.
Great words. A lot of respect between the two players. They've had some battles in the past. They had another tonight, and you just knew de Minaur would recognise Evans' efforts staying out on court. And understandably, he is delighted to be through to round 4.
Yeah, a few question marks coming in here. More than a few, in fact, as to where he was going to be at physically after an absence of 6 weeks from the singles court. And he's got himself together. And I'm sure all the work he's done to rehab, he's feeling very good about it right now. Okay, we can hurry up there, isn't he? Get out of here. There'll be an autograph or two fewer that he can sign on the way, because as you just heard, the players have been called for the next match. There'll be, of course, a ladies singles match. Haddad Maia will take on Kalinskaya.
Go back to where it is.
We'll have a look at some numbers in a second. Really only 2 sets of competitive tennis, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 sets, about 2 hours, where the shot making was off the charts. They ran each other ragged. And that's pretty much all Dan Evans had in the tank tonight. Just hope the hip is a sort of fatigue, a tiredness, rather than an injury that he's done to himself, because he's got a big few months ahead. The stats are skewed, of course, by sets 3 and 4, 6-love, 6-love, Evans having nothing left. But there's no doubt de Minaur was the one making the running. He was out hitting Evans, more winners than the Brit. He did make a few unforced errors, particularly at the end of the second. He maybe just look back at what happened there, but ultimately, you know, just happy as we see to be through to face Jordan Thompson in the 4th round.
Yeah, 1 Brit left in singles. Jack Draper will take on Thomas Mahatch. We'll sign off and be back very shortly for ladies singles.
All right, New York, let's welcome him from Great Britain, Dan Evans. And from Australia, please welcome Alex de Minaur.
Onset, de Minaur. Minaur. Game and onset, de Minaur. Là. Again, tournament de Minaur. 3 sets to 1. 6-3, 6-7, 6 love, 6 love.